Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Twist Gaming, where you get to play board games with us. We're coming to you live here from Dice Tower Con 2018, bringing you board game coverage all weekend long. But first up, who am I? I'm Matt with Twist Gaming, and I'm here with Daniel Zayes. Morning, Daniel.
Good morning.
Daniel, you wear a lot of different hats aside from the LA one that you
Aside
got
from
on.
the LA hat. Yep.
So you want to talk to the audience about all the different companies that you're associated with?
Sure. So I am the U.S. sales manager for Long Pack Games. I also have my own company, the Daniel Zayes Company, right? And I have a project currently on Kickstarter. I also do Kickstarter consulting, and I do a lot of things in the industry as far as like online communities.
Always see you posting online.
Always posting online. One of the ongoing projects right now that I have going that I want to highlight is I run the Facebook group for Board Game Fitness Challenge. That's a quarterly challenge where you can lose up to 10% of your initial weigh-in, and then you will be eligible for a big pool of prizes sponsored by various publishers.
Very cool, and I know that a few of our viewers have actually participated in that before, so that's really cool to hear you talk about that and hear that coming from them as well, saying that actually led them down a path where they were able to better themselves for
Yeah,
it.
it's a great program. Yeah.
So what have you brought to show off here today, Daniel?
Yeah, so this one is my own design and publishing project called When Cutie Met Patootie. If you're on any of the board game Facebook groups, I've likely posted plenty of times in there about this game. But there's been a couple folks who have played the game for press related purposes, right? And so I wanted to at least show you guys the way a game flows in for Twist. So.
Sounds good. So what kind of game is When Cutie Met Patootie?
Yeah, so When Cutie Met Patootie is a 1 to 4 player resource management, hand management, point-to-point movement, semi-co-op type game. There is a situation where the game can win against all players, and you are essentially trying to get these characters up to the top here, but getting them to the top isn't what scores you points. What actually scores you points is the gems they are carrying at the very end when they get here.
Gotcha. So thematically, story-wise, this looks like a forest we're traveling through. Can you
Correct.
talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So this is on Kickstarter right now, by the way. But on the Kickstarter, there are 3 animations released. There will be a 4th animation released soon. Essentially telling the story of these characters. The very very brief backstory is that these characters have traveled from other worlds and have ended up on Earth. They've been warned by this mysterious force that's actually bringing them to these worlds from world to world until they get to Earth, warning them that there is an apocalyptic event that's going to hit Earth. Okay, and it is their mission now to collect these gems and place them in such a pattern that they can receive help from this mysterious force by summoning it when they get here. That's part of the backstory. Now, the evil part of the backstory is that there is an evil mage who controls water who is after them now,
Okay.
and trying to stop their advances. And we are now running away against his flood.
So you talk about this being a pending apocalyptic doom game. It's very interesting though because this game does not look like your typical
Right.
apocalyptic doom end of worlds game. It's got such a nice cute theme to it
Sure.
here.
So this is heavily inspired by the art style and even thematic storytelling of Studio Ghibli, right? So if you haven't seen like Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro, right? So all of these things are they're just characters who exist in this situation, and if you watch any like documentary on the way they actually animate Studio Ghibli films, it's always just something like, okay, if we put these characters in this situation, like what actually happens? Like it's not no one has any fate. They're just living with intentions to do things. So that's where the story actually was built on that foundation. So the fact that these weird creatures have arrived on Earth with that as their premise is just like the start of the story that I'm trying to tell.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So Do you mind taking us through a few rounds of this game so we can kind of show off to our
Yeah,
audience
yeah,
how it plays?
yeah. So in the game, you will take the role of the citizens of Kodiak Harbor, which is where they've essentially landed on.
Okay.
Little town in Alaska, and I'll show you real quick. This is not a character we'll be playing with, but you can see an example of what exactly is going on. If you see on the bottom of the card, you have a blue, a red, and a yellow. You can't tell in the
Yeah,
screen
that's
very
supposed
well.
to be yellow. It's green screening a little bit on us there.
Yeah, sure. So a blue, red, and a yellow gem. Any combination, not combination, but each one of those at the end will get you points. You don't care about the other two, which are white and black, right?
Okay.
So in the game, you are needing to spend away the things that might get you points in order to at least get characters up to the top. But you're also needing, once they get closer to the top, to start putting resources on them that will get you points. Okay?
Okay.
The way this works is that I'm going to give you a secret roll here.
So I have a secret roll.
It's very secret, yes.
Okay.
Nobody knows what it is. And then I'm also going to give you 3 path cards, and I'll explain how to use those in just a second. The path cards are actually used to create this randomly generated map, as well as be your hand of cards for gathering resources. So the way this works is that you can only do 2 things on your turn. One of 2 things on your turn. You can advance the characters, right? Or you can gather resources for them by spending these cards. Okay? So let me explain how all that works. If I want to move Blanche here, and I want to move Blanche up to this spot, I'm actually going to have to spend 1 black resource because Blanche has moved along the path and crossed the threshold of a black resource.
Gotcha. So that acts like a gate, essentially.
Correct. It's a gate. And then if I needed to, let's just say there was this situation where I didn't have the black resource, I would actually be able to spend any two resources to act as 1.
Gotcha.
Okay, so a little more inefficient spending, but if you need to move, you need to move because you're trying to escape this nasty flood. Now, the last way to move is if there is a character. This is just honestly, you saw me set it up. That there's the random setup of Marsalis just happens to be in a space that where a Marsalis card is right here.
Right.
So Marsalis can actually enter into the space for free without having to spend any resources. So it's just luck of the randomly generated map, and then being able to utilize that map to advance. And if we look further ahead, there is another Marsalis card just happened to come up, and also one at the very top. So when you're actually moving Marsalis, you can actually just look ahead and say, where are they going to be at when they get to the end of this? Now, your special card, and I'll give you this one again. If we were playing with Amelia 100% matches up with Santiago. So blue, red, and yellow again, right? So what's going to happen is at the very end, not only are we going to count the points that they have on them for carrying,
Right.
we're going to anyone who survives, we're going to add their beginning resources to the pools of points.
Oh, so that's going to dictate who you're trying to save.
Correct. So you have a 1 character on here who will get you 3 free points at the end, which is what leads you to have an affinity. But you also have plenty of characters who have 2 that match, right?
Right.
Which is maybe your second best, and maybe you have one that only has match with 1, which is like if you were Santiago, that might be actually Thaden. So you wouldn't actually move Thaden very much because it has a blue, a white, and a black, and you don't care about white and black.
Gotcha.
As Santiago. Now, one cool thing about this game is that no one, even though you have a favorite, right, a secret favorite, no one player controls 1 piece. Everyone can control every piece. You can move. I can gather resources for Richie, and then on the next turn you can move up Richie using those resources.
Okay.
In that sense, there's a very semi-co-op feel. Now, let me explain the gathering of resources. So you know how to move them up and spend resources away, and now I'm going to teach you how to get them back. Right. So I can play this card here. This is going to be a little bit of green screen
It's
stuff.
going to be a lot of green screen.
Yeah.
But
So okay, that's a forest. Just keep that in mind. But you can at least make out the important information. So you have Thaden on the card, and you have a blue, a black, and a white, right? So what you're going to do is actually you're going to grab a blue, a black, and a white, and as long as you give all 3 of these to Thaden, nothing bad happens. Okay? So if you load up Thaden with these resources here, then nothing bad is going to happen, right? However, if you disperse them in any other way, so if I want to give blue to Thaden and then such and such, right? Then what will happen is we will flip a rewind card. The rewind card is our game timer. So I will flip this here, and then if we ever hit 5 flood cards, what actually is going to happen is any character who is on this row here or on their starting location are actually going to be removed from the game.
Okay.
Yep. So we're trying to race against this rewind flood. He's building up his flood, and then he's going to release the flood, and it's going to wipe out this whole first row. And anyone who's left over is going to be able to keep progressing up the map.
Okay.
The game will actually end when we trigger the 3rd flood, which means the last characters on here are going to be what scores points.
So I'm assuming that the first one's going to be 5 rewind cards that need to be flipped, but the second time it's only going to need to be 4, then 3, then...
Correct.
Yeah.
So one thing I didn't explain with the path cards as well is that if you have, for instance, a card here that has no character on it, then there's no way to avoid flipping a rewind card. But you get the benefit of having 3 of the same resource that you can spend however you need to.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I've explained that. One thing that can happen is if all the characters advance past the 5th row, if we're doing really well and all of them hit the 4th row, what can happen actually is that I'm going to trigger an automatic flood. If everyone clears a row, I'm going to clear it just through an automatic flood, but I'm not going to reset the timer. Okay, so the game will keep up with itself. If we have it in such a way that 3 rewind cards have flipped and all the characters have rest, and I clear out this bottom row, what's actually going to happen is I'm just going to remove 1, and now we only have 1 rewind card to go before this row also floods.
So I have a question for you then. Yeah. If we happen to have 4 of the rewind,
there would be a double flood.
Okay.
That is what happens. So if you've played enough times, then that would only happen if someone was being very aggressive. Okay, for newer players, it happens by just happenstance and they just learning the game. But it's a crazy thing to see where you have 1 flood and then the 2nd flood, and maybe you have 2 characters left. You as the player actually want a lot more characters to survive. Thematically, it makes sense, but also mechanically, you have more agency to add more resources that get you points for the end. So you want to play a few rounds?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Cool.
So first player is determined by...
First player is determined by last person who went on a hike.
I don't think I've ever gone hiking.
Okay, well, I will start us up then.
Okay.
Okay, great. So I'm going to, from the example, I'm going to move Marsalis without spending any resources because that is him on the card.
Okay. And then how do we draw more of these path cards?
Yeah, so anytime you spend 1, you'll get another card.
Okay.
So you'll always maintain a hand of 3.
So on our turn, we can either move or spend a path card to generate
either
resources?
Either or,
okay.
Correct. You can move to spend resources or you can gather resources.
Gotcha. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move Thaden then. So I'm going to move him there, and then I'm going to spend
I guess you should look at who I am, huh?
the black gem resource.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and if you see here now, we have the very first movement, which is always will cost 1, but every movement afterwards is going to cost 2 because we're always going to have to move into the center here.
Okay.
Okay, so it's easy moving to get off the starting location, but every time after that, it's going to be a little harder.
So another question for you there is,
Sure.
can characters share space?
Yes, so they can up to 2 characters can be on a spot.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at my card and seeing who I want to move up, I might pick 3 LDR, who's our little flying robot, and I'll spend away a blue and a red because I didn't have the black resource.
Gotcha. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play one of the path cards here. So
Sure.
I'm going to play this one, which is going to give, that's a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So a yellow, a blue, and a black gem to Elsie. And I'm going to just play it for her so I don't trigger the rewind card there.
Giving them all to Elsie.
Correct.
Perfect. And I'll get you this here. And I'll distribute the resources right there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So on my turn, I am going to do. Let's see here. I have that. Let me do something similar. I'm gonna give all of these to Thaden. So a blue, a white, and a black,
Okay.
and all of those are going to Thaden. If I had known you'd have a green screen, I wouldn't have designed a green forest game.
Primarily green game. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move Thaden then into this section. So it's gonna cost a black and a white then,
Mhm.
correct? So
Correct.
that and that. Oops, I'm messing up the card.
It's all right.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see here. I am going to go ahead and let's go ahead and move. I'm going to go ahead and move Elsie up here and spend away this yellow.
Okay.
Oh, I knocked over Marcellus. So in the Kickstarter, you'll be able to see this, but the gems here are actually going to be those acrylic rock gems that from like diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
That game, so like similar look, but they're all going to be the 5 colors of gems in that, and these are going to be chunky meeples with stickers on them.
Nice.
Yep.
So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spend this path card to generate a black, a yellow, and a white resource.
Mhm.
I'm going to give the black and yellow to 3 LDR. Is that what it is? 3
Yep,
LDR?
3 LDR.
Okay. And then the white one I'm going to go ahead and give to... how about Richie?
Give it to Richie. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to flip over our first rewind card,
Yeah.
so starting the timer. And then...
And I get another path card, correct?
yes, you do. You get another path card.
Thank you.
And then I am going to spend away the resources on 3 LDR to get them up to black and yellow.
Okay. So how about we do this? I'm gonna spend this path card. It's a red, a white. I'm sorry, a red, a yellow, and a black.
Red, yellow, black.
And let's give the black to 3 LDR, and
Okay.
then the red and yellow to Thaden.
Okay, red and yellow is Thaden. Okay.
And so that flips another.
Yeah, that will not flip
rewind
another
then.
rewind card. Correct. Okay.
One more path card, please.
Oh, yes. Here, what I'll do is let me get you a half a deck.
There we go.
Boom.
Self-sufficient.
Uh-huh. And then, okay, so we only have 3 cards left to.
So what triggers endgame?
The end game will happen when the
3
third flood
floods.
is happened.
Okay.
So whoever's left at this spot at that time. Now, saying that, if the last character moves up, that triggers an automatic flood, ends the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if someone, I've seen this happen where someone triggers this flood and then does an automatic flood and then does 2 floods and that will end the game. And that's a very, very shocking turn of events. But if someone thinks they have the most points, then they actually do that strategically. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's spend Thaden's goods here into this spot here. And that will be a red, and let's go ahead and spend, let's see here, a yellow and a blue.
Okay.
Oops.
So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take, was that Marsali?
Marsalis, yeah.
Marsalis. I'm going to take Marsalis and I'm going to move him into this section right here. So that's going to use the 3 remaining resources.
Nice. Let's get Richie out of there. He didn't get a good lead off, but I think he can make it. So I'm going to do red, and let's spend these 2 to make the red.
So I got a question for you here, Daniel. So Marsalis here
Mm-hmm.
can move into this space for free, correct?
No, because it is not on his path, so they have to stay on their white path.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's just again
The
randomly
luck of the
generated
draw.
map that just dictates where they can get a freebie.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take the robot 3 LDR and I'm going to move them into this section here. That just happens to be the 2
Perfect
gems that they've
spend.
got.
Nice. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and let's see here. Let's get Richie some more resources because I think we can save him. I'm going to get 3 white gems, and I'm going to give them all to Richie, I believe. Actually, no. Let me give 1 to Thaden and 2 to Richie. That'll get them both up there.
That flips a rewind then, right?
It does flip a rewind.
Oh boy.
Yep. So we're 2 away from. Right. Currently, if we flooded right now, these 3 characters would be removed from the game.
So I'm gonna play this one here. I'm gonna generate a yellow, a red, and a blue, and I'm going to give all 3 of them to 3 LDR.
Okay. There's that. And then, let's see here. Let's go ahead and...
That's a flood too then, right?
Oh, it is, yes. Okay, so I'm going to spend... I'm looking ahead right now, and Richie is on this spot, so I actually want to move him up here so that he can get a freebie. But also, I think I need to... I essentially need to pick one or the other, because I don't know if you're going to be aggressive about it. So if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at my card and saying, okay, which one will get me points right now? Which one has the most likelihood of doing well? And I think this one's going to... Richie's going to win out because of that empty spot there.
Okay.
So even though I have to spend extra resources, I got to spend 3 of them, then I will be doing that.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take 3 LDR, and you know what? No, I'm going to take 3 LDR, and I'm going to spend the red and the blue, move them into this section.
So
over
now
here.
3 LDR is a point-scoring character. This is important because on my turn, I could essentially play a card for 3 resources and put them all on 3 LDR, and as long as it's something that gets me points, then that is... that's all I really care about, right? You can only spend away resources by advancing. So as a defense, you can actually move up into the last space. Even though it doesn't get you extra points, it might free up room to put the things that get you points instead.
Right.
Okay, so since you gave me that open with that, I'm actually going to move up here and save Elsie as well.
Okay. So then I'm going to go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
And I'm going to spend... So do I have to spend this resource here?
No, this is actually Thaden here. Thaden's on this card.
Right, so I can move in there for free.
Correct.
It's not
the
just
entire movement
the
is
entire
free.
movement.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move Thaden into this.
Now
card
Thaden
over
is a
here.
point-scoring character. Great. Okay, so I think what I need to do... this might... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move Richie here for free.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this forest card right here. So 3 red resources. And I'm going to put those all on 3 LDR.
Okay, and you've now triggered our first flood.
The Great Flood.
The flood is happening. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this row of cards, which will, unfortunately for Blanche, we didn't even move her at all. We didn't spend any resources to help Blanche. Poor Blanche has now left us, and we're just going to go ahead and remove the resources on her card. And I'm going to flip this here. It's just as a visual cue to show that we do not have Blanche available to us anymore.
Sorry, Blanche.
And then what I'll do is I'll remove this here, and then we'll reset the timer.
Okay.
So so that was your turn. So now I am going to let's spend away resources to move Elsie up.
Okay. So then I'm going to play this card here. So it's going to generate a white, a blue, and a black. I'm going to put the black on 3 LDR, and then the white and the blue onto Thaden.
Okay. Okay, so, oh yes, of course. I'm going to advance 3 LDR. And in doing so, I'm going to spend away these 3 gems.
Interesting.
So just like I've kind of tipped my hand at this point, right? Like I don't like red gems.
Yep.
but I was able to legally. You have to always spend as efficiently as possible. You can't like slow roll somebody by spending inefficiently.
Right.
But because the oh, actually, I take that back. I should not have spent those 2 gems. I should have spent this black gem as well because it has a black and a red, and because 3LDR does have that available, I have to spend it that way.
Ah, okay.
But if I had wanted to, I would have done it the other way.
Gotcha. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this one. I'm going to generate 3 red resources back onto 3 LDR.
That is a really good move, and I did not. I was hoping you didn't have anything that did that. And now, here's the thing. I can't do anything about that. We can't throw away resources.
Because they can't progress.
So now I just have
right?
to deal with what the fallout of that is. So what I need to do actually is...
It's going to flip yet another
It
one.
is. So what I need to do is get these characters up here who will get me points as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put... let's go ahead and spend a... Yeah, I'm going to spend this card here. It's going to be a red, a black, and a yellow. And that's all going to go to Richie. And so let's see if we can't save Richie as well.
Okay. Red, black, yellow. Save,
That's going to
save
be
Richie there.
We got 1 rewind card away from flooding.
Okay. So...
Marsalis is in danger, but I don't know that we're going to save him.
Sorry, Marsalis. Trying to think of what I want to do here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to... Sure, why not? Let's see what characters we got there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this 3 blue generation card here.
There it is. There's the flood.
And I'm going to put all 3 of those onto Elsie.
Elsie, saving Elsie. Okay. All right. So you've triggered the next flood. So what I'm going to do? Sorry, Marsalis, you put up a good fight, but we've lost you to the flood.
So we're going to burn one of these then, and we're going to flip them
Correct.
back over.
And oh yeah, let me go ahead and flip Marsalis.
Sorry, Marsalis.
Bye, Marsalis. Okay, so it's my turn. Let's go ahead. Let's move Richie up, I think. Yeah, Richie has enough resources to advance into a point-scoring character. Yay, Richie.
So, Daniel, I know how much you like red cards here, so I'm going to go ahead and generate 3
goodness.
red resources.
Who shuffled?
and put those onto Richie.
Put them all onto Richie.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate. You just... Okay. Now, here's the thing. I have no idea who you might be, just because you advanced quite a few characters, actually, who...
Got to keep you guessing. Keep on your toes.
Yeah, but I am lucky in that Richie... oh, this flips the rewind card. Richie doesn't have any white cards, or white gems.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to move Richie up into here and spend away the red that he does have, and then spend away the other 2 reds.
So basically
That's
just
white.
kills the 3 red resources
Yeah,
that
just
I
a
just had.
little defense there.
Okay.
And you are up.
Okay, I'll do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to generate some resources now. So a white, a blue, and a black. So I'm going to put the white onto Thaden. I'm going to put the blue on over to Richie.
Richie?
And then the black's going to go on Elsie.
Oh, then I think we're going to save Elsie then. Okay. Well, let's see here. I don't think we're going to save Elsie. I'm going to spend this 3 blue here.
Okay.
And put... Oh, wait. I have an idea about what is going to happen right now. Take that back. I'm going to spend... I'm going to spend this card. Poncho, we're not using him in this game, but we're going to do black, red, and blue.
Okay.
And I'm going to place them on... I'm going to give a black... Here's an interesting thing. I'm going to give a black to Richie, and I'm going to give a red and a blue to Elsie. But in doing that, now I've triggered the flood. Now Elsie goes away.
Bye, Elsie.
And we've triggered the end of the game. And we played an entire game of when Cutie met Patootie at this point. And then we'll do scoring right now.
Okay.
So the way scoring works, and I'll get rid of these just for clarity. Okay. So you don't need any of these cards anymore. These 3 characters have made it to the top. Okay. So all we're going to do really is empty their boards, their hauling of resources to the top of the mountain.
Okay.
And I'm putting these into piles essentially based on color coordination.
Okay.
Right.
So we can count how many
So
of
that
each
we
of the
can
gems made it to the top
correct.
of the mountain then.
And I'm also going to add in, like I said from the beginning, I'm going to add in their beginning resources. So red, white,
Gotcha.
blue for 3 LDR.
Patriotic robot.
Patriotic robot. Yep. White, blue, black.
So white, blue, black for that one. Then we got a black, white, yellow.
And then black, white, and yellow.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So now you're going to reveal who you were.
I had Martina Garcia.
I guessed it afterwards. I was like, you've been moving Thaden and 3 LDR, but I figured because of the red, that eliminated.
And
I was Ranger Green, who is
Ranger
actually
Green.
Thaden. So you helped me out in the early stages, actually.
Gotcha.
But I still think you won. Let me double check real quick.
The 2 characters that we were both playing as basically helped us the same amount by moving those 2 to the end. That was very funny.
Yeah, so that has always happened, but it has happened sometimes. So it's just a matter of I can see you doing that and then try to save other ones that are going to get me points. But you did that too, actually. You didn't just focus on those 2 characters. So let's do real quick. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You have 19 points.
Okay.
I have, I believe you won, actually, because I can actually see here that black and red are just different, and then we have an overlap of 2 resources.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 19 to 16 was our end game.
All those
score.
red resources.
All the red resources went to you, exactly. So, yeah, it was you beat me.
Daniel, thank you for stopping by and showing off When Cutie Met Patootie. This is currently live on Kickstarter right now.
It is,
for about
yeah.
How much longer?
I think we have a little over a week left. And it's not funded yet, so if you would like to back this, it will actually go towards making this game a reality.
What's the price point that we're looking at for this?
Yeah, so you can actually get a game of this for $29. So a whole game of this, it's going to have like I said, it's going to have all the acrylic gems, 150 of them, and then also the meeples that are going to be for the characters, and
all the pretty artwork.
All the pretty artwork that goes with this as well. Yep. So yeah, we have a little over a week, and I'm pretty sure we're at 60% last I checked, and we're likely to fund. If you look at Kickstarter fund stuff, it's just a matter of getting the word out, which is why we're having a conversation.
Sounds good. All right, so Daniel, thank you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
Really appreciate it. And
Yeah,
thank all of you for watching at home. Stay tuned for the remaining coverage here from Dice Tower Con 2018. But signing off for now, I'm Matt. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye.